Today we're going to talk about one of the greatest breakthroughs in my fish room in the last year. My website just hit 10,000 in sales. I appreciate everybody out there. Thank you guys. It's a dream come true, and we're just going to keep going now. It's amazing. But my number one seller is the Daily Delight freeze dried, the Bell system. So those two are my top sellers. Now down on the list is something that I think that more people need to know about, and I am going to give it to you guys free. It's the Amazon Gold. Every single tank in my room gets this now. I started by putting it in my food because I didn't want to put something into my tanks that was going to cause problems. So by putting it in the food first, I could really target the fish and make sure I wasn't going to just wipe out my room with something that I wasn't sure about. So the first year I did put it in my food. So I put it in my food probably once every 2 to 3 times a week, and on specific tanks only because I tested it. Now I do still sell this for the vitamins, but mostly with the medicines. That's really what it's designed to do, is to go with the medicine to help the fish recover. Now in the last year I've been putting it in my water, 1 ml per 5 gallons. And when it goes in the water, it does not need to be replenished unless you add new water. So a little goes a long way. I'm going to send this to you for free. It's on the website. You basically put it in your cart, put in free gold in the coupon code, and hit apply. It'll knock it down for free. Now I cannot ship it for free because it has weight. But also if you go in, you'll see buy one and get one for half off. So you would get this for free, and then the second one you would pay half off. The reason why is because I bought another 50-gallon barrel of this stuff because I believe it. It'll go in every tank in my room from now on because my disease is gone in this room. There's basically, yes, I treat, but still, you know how bacterial issues come up and stuff like that. But not only that, my fry are growing faster, my fish are more colorful, and just the results alone from doing this has been amazing. So I want more people to try it and give me feedback. Now it's not going to happen in a week. It's probably not going to happen in a month. But over a year, I am blown away by this stuff. I am so confident in it. I have just bought another 50-gallon barrel, and I'm probably going to be buying a few more. This stuff's pure. Okay, so let's talk about it a little bit. Okay, so the Discus come from the Amazon. We know the Amazon is full of humic acids. The humic acids come from the fallen leaves, and that's what turns the water dark. So that's not really the secret. The secret is the fulvic acid. This is at the micro level. This is what gets in the fish, makes the nutrients more accessible to the fish, but also cuts down on a lot of diseases. Bacterial, fungal, you don't see that in the wild, and fish recover quick in the Amazon. But not just the Amazon, most lakes and rivers are going to have some fulvic acid in it just because of the natural biotope. So it's free. You guys can get it free on my website. Now I don't know how long I'm going to run that. Because I've hit such a great number on my website, I wanted to give you guys something, right? And something that I think would really make a difference in your room long term. So now I'm going to talk about what it exactly does. Okay, so I'm going to need my notes because it's a long list. So I want to make sure that I get this right and you guys understand the benefit of this product. So we talked about the humic acid, fulvic acid, tannins, flavonoids, organic material, and trace elements. So it carries the trace elements and nutrients to the cell, to the micro level. It's something that's way science nerdy stuff, and I didn't know about it, and I was talking to a good friend of mine that happens to be a chemical engineer. He's a freaking brilliant guy, and he basically said, Steve, you're missing it. It's not the humics. Yes, that is what brings the fulvic acid into the water, but it's the fulvic acid, it's the micro level that's really doing the benefits. Yes, you get it out of tannins, right? You get it out of the leaves, but he's all at the point that you're trying to put this in an aquarium, you would have to turn that aquarium literally black to get the full benefit of the fulvic acid. Yes, you are getting some, and yes, it does help the fish with the leaves. But the process is, one, visually it's not as pleasing because it's hard to look at a dark tank. Now I like it, I think it's awesome, but someone that's not in the hobby and saw a tank that was really dark and black, they wouldn't understand, because they think bright lights, you know, the fish should be in a showcase, right? But you and me know about the Amazon, and we know that that's really pleasing to some people, especially the hardcores in the hobby. When I'm feeding my foods, and I want to be honest with you, the reason why I designed the foods I did is because of Sarah. Sarah has a product called Own It, the Own It tab. I know there was some controversy on it, was not as good as it used to be. To me, having a fish room and working full time, the Own It tab was great because I could put that in a tank, put a couple in for the fry, you know, small fish, and leave, and I knew they were going to get fed for an hour, maybe two, depending on how much. Now, one thing with the Own It is it does cloud the water pretty quick if you put too much in. So basically I got it down to just one tab and I would leave. And then what was awesome is I could have my daughter come down, I would show her, just take one of these tabs at 12 and at 4, you know, depending what, if she was at school or summer or whatever, to put that in the tank, and she would do that for me. And it was fine as long as you spread it out, but I was kind of going, man, I could do this better. I could make this better. So by having these high quality foods along with the fulvic acid, the results are insane. I am breeding fish like I've never bred fish, but not only that, my fish are growing faster. They're growing more healthy, their younger age are getting more colorful. So the nutrients, that is the real secret of the fulvic acid. Now it's not folic, fulvic, right? Okay, so it detoxifies. It's a binder, so it binds heavy metals. It binds everything that is toxic to fish, right? So let's say you are putting lotion on your hands and you stick it in the tank. That is very toxic, and you usually see fish usually slamming against the side of the tank because that's an irritant. They don't like, you know, foreign substances like soap and lotions. And usually when people call me and say, hey, my fish is darting around the tank, what's going on? I'll say, do a water change, because you've probably got a toxin in there. So that's what's great about the fulvic, is it binds those and it keeps those away from the fish. So anything like pesticides, herbicides, heavy metals, it really helps the water stay pure. And if you think about the Amazon again, that's what we're looking for, is pure water. So I can't stress it enough how amazing this stuff is. And in the last year, you know, I didn't want to just release it and say, oh, this stuff's great, because I didn't test it. Literally every tank, hard water, soft water. Now, is it probably a little bit better in the soft water? Probably it is, but it doesn't affect the pH. So, and I definitely see the benefits of my guppies. Everything else looks great with it. It goes into my barrels. When I change water in my barrels, and that's another benefit of having the barrels, is I can really treat that water before it goes into the tank. So literally a small 10 mil does 40 gallons. Now I know it should be 50 gallons, but I go a little heavy because remember, I'm testing the product. I want to make sure if it's overdose, it's not going to cause problems. And underdosing ain't going to be an issue because basically it's better than what we have now. So this stuff's cutting edge. It took me a while to like digest it, but not only that, it took me a long time to find pure fulvic acid, because it should be gold. It should not be brown. Brown is humic, gold is fulvic. And that's why we call it the Amazon Gold. Now, literally, if you guys want to try it, now I can't give shipping for free, but I can give you the product for free. So go in and do the checkout, free gold, and then remember, after you punch in free gold, you got to hit apply, and that'll deduct it from the amount. All right, so I want to read this part from my paper because this was always huge to me as a breeder, because, you know, yes, I'm not getting rich breeding fish, but the more successful I am at breeding fish, the more my hobby can expand. I'm already getting interest pretty high up as far as my products, and I'm getting a lot of pushback because it's very different. And a lot of people don't understand it. Basically, I'm being told that it's causing problems in my tank, which it's not, because I'm 2 years of testing. I maybe have had one issue where I personally overfed something, but with any food that's going to happen. That's just not my food. Any food you overfeed, you're going to have issues. So that's where this next part comes in huge for me, and you know, it was a test and it's proven now that it works and it's another level. I'm growing rainbow fish to a good inch in about 5 to 6 months now, and that would used to take almost 3 or 4 months more before to get them to an inch. And I'm not talking about the dwarf neon, I am talking about the Bozeman, which is like, whew, you want to talk about fish growing slow. So, but the thing with my Bozeman are the colors. Man, it is insane what this stuff does to them. So I believe it's in their natural habitat in Australia. All right, so here we go. Health booster. Strengthens fertility, yes. Egg laying, definitely. Immune systems. I talk about diseases. I'm not getting diseases anymore, and even new fish I'm bringing in, I'm noticing that I'm putting them in this water and they're looking better quicker, but also more, how can I put this? They're more respondent to me as a keeper. They're more comfortable in their water. It's a fact because I can see it myself. It strengthens their immune system, definitely, because of the disease. So we just talked about that. Wound healing. So I've had fish and I did some testing. Salt, let's say a fish Discus gets a nice scrape, right? The go-to for me was salt. I put in salt. I was like, okay, you know, we'll just get some salt and it heals it right up. But what I found now with the fulvic acid in the water is they get a scrape, and I'm tempted not to go to the salt because I want to see how quick will this heal up. And literally within 24 hours, that scrape, even nice scrapes, are gone. Now, if you put the salt in with the fulvic acid, it'll probably accelerate it even faster. So you won't have a bacterial fungal issue with the fulvic, but if you put the salt in, you just double that protection. Nutrients. That's the secret to the fulvic. It gets the nutrients into the cells. It's not... Okay, so when we're feeding our fish from the fish store, if you look at the ingredients, I mean the first couple, and that's what they're doing, is they're pumping in the first couple ingredients, so you can look at, oh, you know, fish meal and krill, and oh, yeah, it looks great. But then you get into about ingredient 6 or 7, and they start coming up with these names that I have to look up, and anytime I have to look something up, I'm like, oh, you know, that's probably a filler or a preservative. Now, garlic is a natural preservative. I don't know why people don't use garlic. I guess it's because it stinks, but it's really good for the fish. And I think that when you start getting into those fillers, and really the reason why they use fillers is not because they have to, it's because it increases profits. Now, I don't know if everyone knows that because they think, oh, well, you know, they're putting it in there for a reason. The reason is it costs almost nothing to put that in their food, and then they charge, you know, a regular price. This is the one that I won't know for a while, but I believe it's actually helping. The inhibition of pathogens prevents the growth of unwanted bacteria. I talked about the scrape, definitely does that. Parasites, don't know, because I haven't done tests, so I can't tell you that. But from what I'm seeing in my room, I think there's something there. And I think it could save us a lot of money in medications. Now, should you have medications on hand? 100%. Because it doesn't matter, this is a preventative, but if there's an issue, you need to treat. There's a difference, right? So, am I saying get rid of all your medications and use this and you'll be fine? That's not what I'm saying. We've got another 3 or 4 or 5 years before we can really prove something, and that's going to take a microscope, that's going to take lots of testing, that's going to take someone on an outside source that can really take it to a nerd level and, you know, find out before and afters, because I'm not willing to do that in my fish room. I can't bring highly diseased fish into my room. It's just too risky. That's something that I think is working, but I can't claim that. I'm blown away by the results of this stuff. So one thing I'm not sure about is it says it does prevent anaerobic bacteria, fungi, which it does, and also biofilms. Now, biofilms to me are not a bad thing, but I'm willing to sacrifice biofilm for the other ones, because that's something that, you know, we can artificially put into a tank to feed small fish as biofilms. So this is where it gets a little sticky, right? I'm not gonna sit here and tell you it's perfect, because it's not. But from my testing for a year, it's been pretty amazing results. And I'm not noticing biofilms being affected. I think it might be the level we're at, and also algae. Algae are still prevalent. You definitely algae in the water with this stuff, and I've done that on purpose with highlight just to see if I can have algae growing in my tanks, because I don't want to inhibit that, because algae is very important and it's very natural, and it should be in every system at some level.